Hi, my name's Danica. I am the Senior Social Media Coordinator for California Psychics. If you're new, we do these every single week. We have our live readings where we have a psychic come on and they take your questions for the first half. And then during the second half, we switch over to doing tarot pools. So during this first part, couple announcements before we get started. If you can try to make your question as specific as possible, whether you're asking about a loved one or a friend, if you could use their first name. And then we also will not be answering any questions about health or legal matters, and that includes questions about pregnancy. So if you do ask those, if you could ask another question, if you ask both, we'll only pull that one question, just so you know. But we're here with Psychic Marin, and Psychic Marin actually has been doing a bunch of stuff on our TikTok channel. Marin, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know there are some of you that watched the recent summer solstice video, so thank you for checking that out. It's not too late to watch that to prepare for next year, but there are going to be a lot of series TikTok videos that we're going to post at least weekly, if not more. And if you guys have any ideas, if you have ask a psychic question, something like, why this just came up the other day. Why can my husband sense this spirit that's in the room that's bothering him, but the wife is oblivious and she doesn't sense it? So why is it? How come some people can sense it and other people can't? So if you ever have a question that's just been in the back of your mind and you want to ask a psychic, well, this is your opportunity. You can put it down in the comments below, and after this broadcast, I'll go back through. So anything, it can be paranormal, not anything specific to your life, but any type of paranormal, psychic question, ritual, positive affirmations, candle work, anything that you may have some questions about, put it in a comment below and I will read through them later and hopefully create a TikTok out of it.
And we are loving her TikToks already. If you're not following us on TikTok, go ahead and check us out. We are California Psychics. We have a bunch of stuff that's already up on our page, zodiac stuff, some fun psychic stuff. So definitely give that a watch. But I know you guys come to get your questions answered. So let's go ahead and jump into that. This question comes from Christina over on Facebook. She says, hi, I met some new people, Andre and Dante. Where do you see it going, a relationship?
Okay, let me connect. So it's almost mirroring the sequence in which you gave me the names. So Andre, Dante, I'm getting the initial connection with Andre that's going to start to get stronger and stronger and then plummet by September. And I feel like that kind of falls off the radar for a few months. And then the connection with Dante starts to take over. I continue to see them back and forth throughout your life, even into the beginning of next year. So I think you're going to have a choice. You're going to have your hands a little full, but both of those look like really strong connections. If I were to place one over the other, I see the stronger, more consistent connection with Dante.
This next one comes from Stephanie over on YouTube, and they're asking, what do I need to work on before I can find a long-term romantic relationship?
You're so sweet. There's kind of this feeling or concept of like over processing when somebody has been doing so much soul work and self-reflection. You are at that point where I see you almost over processing. Your issue is more of timing. I think that you're really ready and you just haven't met that right person yet. They're giving me early October. So I feel like you're just kind of in this limbo in between, but I don't feel like there's any more specific work that you need to do. You've already done that. And I think that that's what your COVID life was, is just purging old patterns. So you're ready. Hang on until the beginning of October. And that's when I see the person coming in. That looks like there's two people, but I'm seeing the more consistent relationship starting in early October.
Our next one is going to come from Michelle over on Facebook. They ask, hello, Marin. I'm wondering what I can do to get my son Spencer to get busy with his life and not sleep all day.
Okay. Give me just 1 second because I'm trying to see images of him and age and okay. Without giving like an actual medical diagnosis, I want to just express to you that I feel like what's actually happening is more of just a stuck kind of depressed energy of him just feeling like, what's the point? Like there's no structure in terms of career path and life path and where do I go from here? I see him so detailed and so intricate, like more of an analytical, like an engineering brain, mechanical brain. And you're not seeing that. What you're seeing is more of that lazy sitting around. I just feel like he's not stimulated enough. He needs that real regimented structure, real regimented academic structure. I just don't see that this is something that's going to continue into early next year. By February, that's when I see anything having to do with like automotive design, engineering, not like auto detailing, but more of that detailed work. And I see this real interest developing with mechanics and automotive in a specialized industry. And it looks like it's more of design work, not just car mechanic work. And I see that starting to really capture his interest in February. So for now, you're in a tough spot because he's not inspired and I don't see him finding that. You could point him in that direction for right now, but I just see him really discouraged, and that's what his issue is. I hope that's been a lot of information that can help you.
Our next question comes from Jacob over on YouTube. He wants to know, does Destiny like me romantically?
Yes. And I want to clarify because I get an image of two people around you, and one of them looks like she's Caucasian and one looks more Polynesian or Asian descent, and a little bit shorter and petite. And that's the person that I'm getting the stronger connection with. And I'm seeing that, yes, there is this attraction. It feels like she's so much more shy than what you realize. And the biggest hurdle for you guys to overcome is that shyness and her opening up to you and starting to express feelings more, which is going to take almost 2 more months. So you're going to start spending more time talking, getting closer beyond just your casual friendship. But I don't see this starting until, this is another one where I'm getting early October is when I see this starting to become more of a relationship. So she's shy right now.
Next question comes from Ashley over on Facebook. They ask, my father Charles passed away a few years ago. Are there any messages from him?
Okay, give me 1 second to try getting to see who he's watching. So there's two, gosh, I'm getting 2 images and I keep getting this white flower and I think it was a magnolia. It's not like a white rose or daisy or one of the more common. I think it was a magnolia. And I'm wondering if there's a white magnolia, a tree, or if there's any significance with why they're showing me that. The second image that I was getting shows me that he's not a soul that is hovering over you and watching you consistently. I see him monitoring and watching, I think 3-year-oldish, real young toddler. Somebody in the family is a 3-year-old boy that looks like he was underdeveloped or a preemie or struggling a little bit to catch up with his motor skills. And that's the little boy that I see that he's overshadowing. As far as messages from you, like the good news is I don't see any immediate concern. And he's also a soul that I just don't see that's going to be here to where he's watching over you and your family for years and years and years. It looks like he's getting ready to cross. And I keep getting something about like monitoring sports as well. And I think that has to do with this little boy that he's watching. There's no, if anything, I would say that the overwhelming sense of I'm proud or you're getting back on track, and that is especially in finances. And so I'm wondering if there was a bigger inheritance or if he helped in some regard or why he was concerned about you financially. But it's more of this approval and kudos, but nothing that I'm seeing that's warning or caution or any concern for you personally.
This next question comes from Melissa over on Facebook. They say, hello, Marin. My last reading with you, you had mentioned Jimmy and I would meet in fall time. We know how things can change. We actually met last week. How is he feeling about me?
Okay, let's peek at that. Fall, I'm just creating a timeline in my vision. So last, I'm glad you connected, but I don't want you to be discouraged if it feels like you've connected and it's really hot and heavy until about mid-August. And then I just see that declining. And then by late September, that's when I see it picking back up again. So you're going to have about a month. And they're also saying he's physically, like geographically going to be gone. So you've got about a month where the relationship drops off. Early October, then you're back on track again. And it just, his feeling is like, I'm ready, but I'm not ready. Like I got the cart before the horse. I'm a little bit busy, and they're showing something going on with construction. And I just keep seeing him going, I'm week after week. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Don't take it personally if he's blowing you off or if he's got 1,000,001 excuses, because that is the truth. And I see this starting at the end of September on. So the physical attraction was huge. I feel like there's some little subtle changes with hair and something that was like very physically exciting, but the relationship's going to start late September.
Our next one comes from Carrie over on YouTube. They ask, what would the universe want me to know about my career progression and finances?
Okay. Career progression and finances. Let me just look fast. Boy, this is one of those situations where I wish that I had you on the phone so I could bounce some questions back off of you. But my number one question is this a new position that you just landed, or did you, hold on, I'm trying to get it. Something changed within the last 2 or 3 months that looks like it's something new. And what they're showing me is you're kind of lost in the shuffle right now, where you're not getting a lot of feedback or validation that you're on track and doing well. And when they show me middle to end of August, you are kind of the star. You're that center, center of attention. And then I see a permanent contract that is going to be something separate or in addition to what you're doing. So you've got less than a month where you are just going to be going 100 miles an hour and your career path just really soars. And it feels like, again, I keep getting this torn between two things, and something that you're going to have to give up to be able to dive in more committed in this other aspect of your career. But it looks like it is thriving very, very well financially. There's nothing I can say negative, except for that you're just going to be torn and having to make a choice in about 3 more weeks of where you're primarily focused.
I'm going to take a quick moment to let everyone keep putting their questions in. Just a reminder, when you're asking your question, if you could try to make it as specific as possible. So if you're talking about another person, whether you're talking about a significant other or a person you have a crush on, or a friend or a family member, if you could just include their first name, that will help Marin connect a little bit faster, so we can try to get through as many questions as possible, because we're only going to be here for an hour. But we're going to be here for an hour, so we have a lot of time to take a lot of questions. And if you've never joined one of these before, in the last half, we switched to tarot pools. And for that, your questions can be a little bit less specific. So if you want a love card or a money card, you don't really feel comfortable saying your question, that's a much easier way to get your question without having to provide those specifics sometimes. And before we jump back into taking more questions, I just want to remind everyone that we have our Karma Rewards Day coming up Wednesday and Thursday. So you should mark that in your calendar, get ready. That's a day where you can earn even more points that you can earn free readings with your favorite psychics. If you've never heard about our Karma Rewards program, it's a great way for you to earn points to get free readings by already getting the readings that you're getting. We have a bunch of different ways you can earn points, but one of them is that you can add your favorite psychics to your psychic circle, and then you get extra points for getting a reading with them. So check us out Wednesday and Thursday for Karma Rewards. Our loyal app users also get to start our Karma Rewards Day an hour before everyone else. So if you haven't downloaded our app yet, it's California Psychics on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And while you're setting up your Karma Rewards account, add Psychic Marin to your psychic circle. So when you have those follow-up questions, you can get even more points for reading with her on KR Day. Let's pull another question. This one comes from Jacqueline over on YouTube. They ask, when will I meet my husband?
Okay. So timeline was April next year. And I was trying to place the gathering. Gosh, timeline was easy, but I keep getting an image of what looks like it's a church in the background. And I see this outdoor lawn, and I'm trying to place if you're either going to be in a church environment or something where there's an outdoor festival or activity, or your neighborhood or something with a church right there. But I see this outdoor lawn patio gathering area, and it's several hundred people, and they're showing me April of next year. But it's not, when you think April and church and Easter, that's not it. It looks like it's something that's a different type of gathering. I hope that's enough detail for you.
Next one comes from Katie over on Facebook. They say, I've had an interview for 2 positions at the hospital. Will I move forward with the next step of the interview process?
Yes, you will. And there's going to be an issue over this certain shift or schedule. And I see what's working for you or what you're wanting, what they're trying to plug you into. Looks like it's almost a month away until you're starting. So I feel like you're given this notice that you've been hired, and then you're starting mid-August. The final interview is being held up. There's somebody that I'm assuming is more of the director. It's a gentleman that's going to be overseeing the interview that was gone last week. So if there's anybody telling you something about somebody being out of the office or that was gone last week, they're showing me it's scheduled this week, following week interview, and then you get hired by the tail end of this month, start date mid-August. Boom, boom, boom.
We actually have a lot of questions about careers. This next one comes from Angelica over on Facebook, and they asked, should I move job locations from my branch in Palm Bay to headquarters in Rockledge? And will I move up in the company?
Okay. Give me 1 second, because I'm trying to see. I'm trying to get the direction. Give me 1 second. The timing is not lining up with the job that you're indicating or where you would be relocating, unless this is something that would be in late September. That's when I see you relocating. So to answer your question, yes, I see you leaving in order to take this other position, but I'm seeing what looks like you going north mid-September is when that move is starting, or when you're aware and you start planning for it. I would caution you, though, that I feel like it's going to take you about 3 months to really get yourself situated and confident. The pace is 10 times more chaotic and kind of people coming and going and a little bit more disorganized. I feel like at first you're going to wonder, did I do the right thing? But that financial increase and that promotion and how fast you grow, it is going to be worth it. But don't question, why did I do this? Because that's exactly what I'm seeing, and some regrets in that. But by beginning of next year, February is when I see big promotion, and from there it's just going to continue to increase year by year. And I actually see you geographically a little bit happier in that area, a little bit faster paced life that you are okay with.
Sonia over on YouTube asks, is this relationship that I'm in one that I should stay in? Is Vincent moving in a more serious direction? When do you see this?
I do see you staying in this relationship. And I think that even if you were to want to get out of it, your heart is pretty committed. I do see a lot of frustration. And I think that that's their lack of availability or not prioritizing you. And that is also going to be something that changes by November. You've got to minimize those expectations. And I know you already have, but they're saying by November, that's when I just see the presence and you feeling more of a priority in the relationship. But this is one of those situations where even if you said to yourself, I'm wanting to move on, I'm done, I'm tired, your heart's just not going to let you very easily. So I think that you're going to stay in this, which is what I would advise, and knowing that by November, it's going to be much more consistent with the attention and you feeling more validated verbally and physically in the time that's you two spend together.
Our next question comes from Valerie over on Facebook. They say, hey, Marin, will anything between me and Sean move forward romantically? What are his intentions?
Man, the truth is I feel like you are stuck in this holding pattern or kind of waiting and hoping and hoping. I think that that's going to continue with a lot of frustration. And they show me timeline in March next year. I think he's still going to be in your life, but then I'm getting an image of a gentleman that comes in. He's quite tall. I think that he's 6'3", 6'4". He's got some sort of background in academics, or he works at a college or something very athletic and academics. And I mean, he's just a family guy. And I see this person coming into your life, and it looks like it's more of a friendship, very platonic at first. And I'm almost wondering, like, if there's a child or you meet through a child, but this is not even on your radar, and you meet this person and the other relationship opportunity just really starts to dwindle. So keep your eyes open for that, because I think that I would almost encourage you to look elsewhere now at this point, because he's taking advantage of the fact that he knows you're just there and available. I'm sorry.
Our next question comes from Michelle over on Facebook. They say, hi, Marin. My daughter Delaney and I both have been seeing various repeating groups of members frequently for a while now. What could it mean for us?
So simple answer is, for me personally, my number is 333. And you will get shown some sort of numerical pattern. For a lot of people, it's 1111. It's a number series that is very validating, because it's supposed to help reassure you in knowing that I am right where I am supposed to be in this moment at this point in my life. It's kind of this validation that you're on track. Also, it kind of will create a cooling effect where when you see that, it just makes you go, wow, I'm connected, or I'm attuned, or I'm my awareness of my surroundings is heightened for just that split second to help validate you. Also pay attention to whatever it is that you were thinking of right before you saw that number, that also may be a cue, a clue into you knowing that that's important, or that's something that needs to be addressed, or don't procrastinate on that matter. So in general, it just means that it's like a big thumbs up that you are doing well in life according to your guides, and them validating you in your life path.
This next question is going to come from Aaron over on YouTube. They say, hi, Marin, is Brandon cheating? I'm curious. I'm hurt. I want us to work.
Boy, these are questions that I don't take lightly, because this has the power to potentially and very seriously impact somebody's life. But I think you already know the answer, and I can validate, and I feel like, yes, there is something going on. I'm getting a lot of messaging, and I feel like it's hidden, or there's some sort of app or communication system where it's all being erased, or you're not going to find something, or you're not going to see it. So there's a huge breach of that trust right now that I'm seeing, and I'm sorry. But you're going to see more cues in you questioning him and how angry and defensive he gets, which is basically trying to hush you. I don't see any attempt at him trying to ease your fears, or, gosh, why do you feel that way? No, gosh, let's rule this out. It's just this immediate anger, defensive response, and you feel it in your gut. You continue to keep feeling it in your gut. So I know you commented that you want us to work, but he doesn't seem to feel or think the same way right now. So I'm sorry, but I think the step back and having him realize that you're not going to tolerate this is the first and only real way of him starting to have to see the results of his actions and make a choice between you or the other person. And I do feel like he wants this relationship, but you need a real substantial break right now for him to feel that accountability for what he's doing.
This next question comes from Lindy over on YouTube. They say, hello, Marin. Will Miguel Capricorn ever commit to me in an exclusive relationship and eventual life partner? I am a Libra. We are only occasionally friends with benefits, but he acts like he loves me.
Yeah, there is a spicy connection between the two of you. And I feel like his biggest hurdle is just not being of the frame of mind where I am ready for that commitment and monotony. You guys are two people that are just flying by the seat of your pants. So much fun and excitement, like real wild, fun energy. And he associates commitment with stagnation. And that's the only reason why he's not taking this to that next level and validating his feelings. So I'm actually looking at this for almost another year. And I'm sorry it's going to take so long, but they're showing late August into September next year is when I start to see him really thinking that maybe I could live with you. Maybe I can do this. But right now, I feel like there's such compatibility that if you can enjoy the ride, and if you can do this very inconsistent on and off connection, I do see this working. But his little the switch doesn't flip until early fall time of next year, where that's when I see this turning into a relationship. And if you push it, if you are trying to evolve sooner, he's just going to step away and resist that, because he doesn't want that commitment right now. It's not the commitment. It's not you. It's that mindset and being able to really settle down and feel like I've lived my life and now I'm ready to commit and really be that loyal person. So I think you guys have a really good potential if you can endure the craziness for another year.
This next one comes from Vanessa over on Facebook, and they ask, can you tell me if I'll ever have my first date with Tom, or is he using me?
He's not using you, but there's somebody else that's in his life. And it looks like this is somebody that, what it is it's a on, off, somebody that he's known for 20 years that they've never quite aligned. Either one of them was in a relationship when the other one wasn't, and it just has never clicked. So what they're showing me is it feels like, gosh darn it, like here I thought I would start this relationship with you, and now this other person's coming back in. So what do I do? Because I don't want to ruin this opportunity with you. I really wish that there could be a little bit more open communication with the two of you, where it could be understood that you're not in this expectation of the relationship being so exclusive right now, and that you could still make that initial connection and just take things really slow if that works for you, if you're comfortable with seeing him while he's still talking to this other person. Because I don't see that relationship ever working out. They've got a really interesting soul contract that I don't see. She's very, very dominating, and I just don't see that relationship's going to work for them. So it's a very slow and steady and long drawn out connection. But that's where I would start if I was in your position, is just saying, let's just meet and we'll see where this goes, and no exclusive expectation at this point. And that's going to get his attention, and that's going to make him feel like he can start to open up and share with you what's going on.
Another love question from Facebook. This one comes from Adriana, and they ask, will I be in a relationship soon?
Yeah, gosh, you're sweet. Yes, but I say that just because I see the heartache and frustration, and your life looks just kind of like this broken record with relationships and non-committal gentlemen. November. So you're looking at November of next year. I'm seeing there being 3 people, and they're giving me a name of Brian, and that's the most difficult of them all. If you could see what I could see, I would just say, don't even go down the path of dating Brian later this fall. They're showing me 3 people that you are meeting, and I see the relationship that is starting in November of next year. That ends up finally being the long-term partner, which 2 years is a proposal. So from right now, you've got 2 years from now, 2 years and a couple months until I see the proposal. But that's the person that I see being consistent. And I'm saying this very lovingly, but I really encourage you to have a higher standard. I really would encourage you to get clear on these are non-negotiables, because I just keep seeing you making these exceptions and being so frustrated, and you honestly deserve better. So get really clear. This is your checklist. These are the non-negotiables, and stick to it, and save yourself a lot of wasted energy that you've already shown me is the pattern. So you're going to break that pattern and find Mr. Right in November next year.
We're going to take another quick little break, tell you guys about some of our upcoming events. This Wednesday and Thursday, we have our Karma Rewards Day. So if you're not familiar with our Karma Rewards program, it's a great way for you to earn points that you can redeem towards free reading by already getting the readings that you're getting. There are a ton of ways you can earn points, but one of them is on our Karma Rewards Day. You get a reading and you get even more points. It's like a bonus. But you can also add your favorite psychics to your psychic circle. So if you really want to get a reading with Marin after this, maybe you have some questions that didn't get answered, we have some follow-up questions, add her to your psychic circle when you sign up for our Karma Rewards program. You'll also get a free birth chart that's going to tell you a bunch of information about your life. And then set your calendars, because Wednesday and Thursday, that's when you're going to get those extra points. So you can get those free readings. And then we have another live reading, or tarot live next week, actually, which is going to be a little bit like this. It's going to be a post on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter where you can submit your questions. And Psychic Reagan is actually going to go in and do a 1-card tarot pool for as many questions as she can. For some of the cards, she'll upload a photo of the card so you can see the card that she's talking about, but she'll explain how the card applies to your situation and to you. And it's super great. The post goes up pretty early, so you can get your questions in. You don't have to be waiting around watching. And then Facebook or Instagram or Twitter will give you that notification when she answers your question. And then the week after that, we will be having a live reading on the 26th with Psychic Kerrigan. And the week after that, on August the 2nd, I think we'll be with Psychic Marin. So add those to your calendars, set reminders. Don't forget to show up because you can get your questions answered. And I think those are all the announcements that I have. It's over the halfway point. Do you want to switch over to tarot or do a
We
question?
sure can. Yeah. So I'm going to begin with the tarot pulls, which means, as Danica said, you don't have to give a specific question. You can just say, I'd like a card, or you can say, I'd like a love card if you want me to give a definition or response that's a little more directed to a focus area. But no need for detailed questions on these, so you can keep it confidential if you need to.
We'll go ahead and pull the first one for that. Stacy is asking for a card about their love life.
Okay, you got the Fool, and I give you guys the definition of the card. This way you can look it up if you want more details. This is the Fool, and in your case, it is don't be a fool, but also the Fool is the 0 card, which is the beginning. It is even before number 1. So I have a feeling you're probably looking for love or brand new love that you are embarking on, and your head may be just up in the clouds, almost so in love that you're ready to just walk off the cliff. So don't neglect the other aspects of your life as you're falling in love.
We have another love card for Connie over on Facebook.
Okay. This is in an upright position. This is the 3 of Wands. So in an upright position, it would be like you're searching, or you've found a new relationship and you're not quite sure. This was pulled in a reverse position, which means that you are done looking, you have found somebody, or you just met somebody, or already in a relationship where they're saying you don't have to keep looking. You can put that to rest. So if you are in a relationship, that's validating that this person is likely the one, because the search can be over.
That's interesting. Marianne over on Facebook is asking for an apartment and job card.
Apartment and job card. Okay. So the apartment is the Hermit reversed. And in the context of your question about this pertaining to an apartment, this would mean that you are not going to be in a situation where you are tucked away and hidden or out in the middle of nowhere. You're going to be in a more public, surrounded by a lot of people. It might be more issues with noise, and you're not going to have that privacy like the Hermit has, to where he can be way up on the top of the mountain. So you're in a situation where it's going to be kind of distracting. And then with regards to the job, you've got the healing angel. This is Temperance. So you probably have a career path that is in caregiving, nursing, medical field, anything having to do with creating balance and a little twist on health. That is the job related card that was drawn for you.
This one is for Melanie over on Facebook, asking for a career card.
5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is a card of turmoil and grief and tension and bickering and fighting. So you were probably in a pretty hairy situation where there's just some headbutting that is going on in your life, or you were at odds of whether or not this is the best career path for me, or should I stay or go? I'm frustrated. If that's the case, then it's time to consider something else, because this is not a very positive energy for you to be in.
This one comes from Beauty Trend 77 over on YouTube, asking for a love card for them and George.
Okay. You got the Ace of Swords, which is it's a positive card in terms of it's like a thumbs up card. The swords, being the suit of air, represent a very analytical, or somebody that may be really dissecting your words or your thought, or you may feel like you're kind of picked apart a little bit in this relationship. It's not going to be a relationship that has as much of a focus on romance and love and emotions as it would be if you got the Ace of Cups, which is the suit of emotions. This is the Ace of Swords, swords representing logic, intellect. So it's going to be a very intellectually heavy, analytical relationship. And that may often feel like you're being picked apart or criticized, but that's just the nature of the feel of the relationship.
We have a question from Juan over on YouTube asking, will Corey get in contact with me soon? Will we reconcile?
Not soon, but I was given the answer. I'm going to do a card for you as well. This is, you got the Seven of Pentacles, and what this card means is growth. It's like reflecting and growing. So this is kind of like take pause and step back and kind of evaluate what your role may be in this relationship, or because you gave me some detail about your situation, I would see what your place is in apologizing or the necessary responsibility that you may have in the strife that exists in the relationship. So it's time to do a little bit of reflection before that communication is initiated, but I'm getting that it's almost 2 months, and like mid-September is when I'm seeing the two of you starting to talk, and it's a little bit, there's some wounds that need to be healed is what it feels like.
This next one comes from Elena over on Facebook asking for a love card.
Yeah, love card for you. Oh, this is the Empress. She is seated on her throne. Sometimes she's depicted as this pregnant woman that's very nurturing and loving. And I mean, you're ready. You're ready for that level of commitment and family love. And this is a great card. I see that as that certain cards in the deck, when I pull cards, are representative of the person. And so this is more of a representation of you, you being the loving, nurturing mother, not so much that the relationship is loving and nurturing. This is a significator card representing you.
Here's an interesting question. This one comes from Ashley asking for a career card specifically.
Oh, wow, that is, yeah, awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's make it a good one for you. I'm shuffling them really well. Oh, this is good. This is, okay, so this is justice. Even though this is coming up slightly in the legal context, in this case, I would interpret it as a positive, but I'm questioning if you applied previously and if this is the second round, that you would not have gotten that information through this card specifically. But I do feel like, unlike what most people associate with justice and the scales of justice being law and legal, this is you providing information that is of more of the spiritual law, spiritual realm, and somebody that is more of this advocate in righting wrongs, or somebody that would be really excellent in providing information or assistance to people that are needing help in their moral obligations, or helping people with moral justice. I'm wondering if you even have a little bit of a background in law or mediation, or being a mediator for difficulty. So that's going to be your strength. But I think that there's 2 rounds is what I'm seeing. So hang in there and good luck to you. I'd love to have you as a colleague.
This next one comes from Pete over on Facebook asking for a love card.
Okay, Pete. So you've got the Knight of Swords. We talked a little bit earlier about what swords represent, being more of the intellectual type of relationship. But this knight in this situation is in a real hurry. And so my advice to you is just the relationship approach is being rushed, or just feeling like you're wanting to push it along. You're trying to push it along, which to the partner this pair of pushing something along with the mental dissection often ends up making the other person feel like you're manipulating the situation, even though your intentions may be very good. So my words of advice to you are just be mindful of if you're feeling like you're pushing something along a little bit, that may not be the best approach for you. But it does look like love is happening fast for you.
We have a question from Nenny over on YouTube asking, when will I be able to pay off my mom's mortgage?
Okay. So this is the Page of Swords reversed. And whenever you are working with the tarot and you're asking questions that are something like a yes or no, this is interpreted as a no, this is interpreted as a yes, and then this is more of like the adjective. So I would look at this and say, you're not paying this off anytime soon. And I'm just being told that there's some issues with the payoffs or something that's going to be a little bit more delayed. So even though this is saying no, what I'm getting is it's taking a couple of years. Like this is not going to be something where it's just over and done. This is for I feel like it's 4 years, and I feel like that none of this information you would have gotten from this card. So I'm sorry to confuse the watchers, but I think it's important for you to know that rather than you taking all this money and paying this off, you're going to have unforeseen expenses that you need that cushion for. There's going to be some substantial repair issues with the roof, and you don't want to pay everything off right away. It's not going to be financially in your best interest. It will put you in a little bit of a bind. So save some of that money as the cushion, and it's going to take about 4 years.
Just a reminder, because we are getting a lot of comments on our post right now, our psychics will never comment on your questions or ask you to DM them. So if you are seeing somebody comment, that's not anyone that's associated with California Psychics. But we do still have 13 more minutes to take as many questions as possible. So keep putting your questions in, keep commenting your questions, and we will keep going through. This next one is for Tamara over on Facebook asking for a love card.
Okay. This is the Nine of Pentacles, and it does represent Pentacles being money and finances. It represents a sense of stability, but in this case, what it's representing is that you're now ready for love, marriage, partnership, where in the past you were so distracted and fixated on money in the sense of just creating basic stability for yourself that it was hard for you to even prioritize and focus more on love, or it was a juggle. So they are giving me 2, 3, 4 October. They're showing me late October, and I feel like there's a relationship that kind of disappears and then comes back again strong in October. And they're just wanting you to know that you're now ready, that you're able to finally focus on the relationship because everything else in terms of the stability has been achieved. The other little thing that popped through was you've got a very, very close, very strong guide, and I believe it is a maternal grandmother that had a connection with divination, and somebody, I don't know if that's in your family roots of something that you're aware of, but there was a grandmother or great grandmother that had the gift. And so she's somebody that's around you when I was reading on this card that's giving me that information. So she's saying you're ready and she's there.
I really like this one over on YouTube. 8 Hours of Sleep says, been thinking about asking the big question, just wondering if the time is right.
I love that. And yes, Seven of Swords, which this is a tricky card. In an upright position, it would indicate that there's some sort of, is there a trust issue going on? But what they're showing me in a reverse position is there's no deception, there's no trust, there's nobody else I'm getting the month of August, and I feel like there's just this water. There's this water in the background. I don't know if it's a river or a lake or this little plateau area where I can see water, and if that's your destination. But yes, and it will be very, very well received, and no fears, no questions, nothing in the background. I definitely, definitely think you're ready, and I think it's going to be next month.
This next one comes from Marilyn over on Facebook asking for a love card.
You are familiar to me for some reason. I think I've read for you before because I just saw you, and that was a familiar image. So this is coming up in a reverse position. This is the Ace of Pentacles. You were asking about love. This card is indicating that you're empty-handed. Like it's that stability and love is just not there right now. I'm more empathically connecting to you, and I'm getting those familiar images, and so I'm trying to place you as quick as I can. But this feels like a loss or a grief or a relationship that's ended or on its way out. And I just hate to be so abrupt in such a short amount of time, because empathically my heart's really starting to open up to you in this sense of like, oh my gosh, why, what's the matter? What's wrong? But it just feels like there's a love loss or disappointment in your life, and it's headed for some rougher times for the next couple months.
This next one comes from Carrie over on Facebook asking for a money card.
Okay, Carrie, let's take a look at that. Oh, you couldn't have gotten a better card for money. This is one of those really tough cards. Five of Pentacles, and this card is labeled the Dark Night of the Soul, which here's this church, and they aren't even taking in these people that are struggling and needing a home and needing shelter, and they're just out on the streets. And it's a rough card financially. You've got to hang on to those pennies right now. You've got to save February. You're going to be in a financial pinch now until almost late February of next year. It just looks like this is kind of the aftermath of COVID budgeting, and just feeling like now's not the time to book that vacation and spend a lot of money unnecessarily. I would really stick to that budget until February of next year.
Rhonda over on YouTube is asking for a love card, specifically for Boris. They say, I love him, but I'm not sure if it's mutual.
Oh, gosh. This is the Lovers. So this is one of the more significant cards in the deck that represents even soul connection. So to answer your comment, I feel like it's mutual, but I feel like you are a very confident, independent woman, or so that's the image, the persona that you portray. And he's rather intimidated by that. So he's just trying to be your best friend. He's trying to be your buddy, and to have this connection where he'd rather have that than take that leap and really put himself out there. Because as much as you are saying that you really care about him and you're not sure if it's mutual, I feel like I'm looking at it the other way around, that he's not as clear, not as certain what your feelings are. So both of you are doing this dance, and there's a real strong connection that I'm feeling, and it's also validated with this card. So I know that you may be waiting for him, but I would start to nudge it a little bit more, and know that the biggest reason why this hasn't grown and unfolded is because you're just so confident he doesn't even think he's got a chance. So I'd really encourage you to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit more, give him a little bit more of that reassurance, because this will catapult forward within a couple weeks.
We have time for a couple more questions. So if you haven't had your question answered, get them in, keep commenting them. We have a couple more minutes. But before we do that, just a quick reminder that if you didn't get your questions answered, or if you do have any follow-up questions, to get a reading with Psychic Marin, we actually have her profile linked in the video description, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. So you can just click to go to her profile and get it all set up to get a reading with her. But before you do that, add her to your psychic circle. If you don't know what your psychic circle is, it is a feature of our Karma Rewards program, which is how you can earn points to earn free readings. And we have our Karma Rewards days where you can earn even more points. And we actually have one coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. And our loyal app users actually get to start their KR day an hour before everybody else. So if you want to take advantage of that special, download our app, California Psychics, in the Google Play and the App Store. Add Psychic Marin to your psychic circle, and check out the free birth chart that they send you when you sign up for our KR program, because it's so much information. It's incredible. And I'm not going to talk your ears off, but we're going to have even more readings coming up. We'll be having our Tarot Live with Psychic Reagan next week on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then the week after that, we will have another live reading with Psychic Kerrigan. So if you're watching on Facebook, hit that subscribe button on on Facebook, hit the like button. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because you're not going to want to miss those. We do them almost every week except for the third Monday of the month when we do our Tarot Live. But we'll jump back into questions. This one comes from Hubert over on YouTube asking, is moving to San Francisco for school a great option for me?
It is a great option. This is the Seven of Cups, which it would indicate that you're a dreamer, your head's in the clouds, and that is not the case. This is something that is really possible. I do feel like you will be very successful from a financial point of view. What it looks like to me is like, wow, I never thought this was possible, but it is. And everything's just starting to fall into place, and it's a lot easier than I thought. And I can do this. I only see you there. I'm getting 7 years. So you're there 7 years. And then I see you a little bit more remote and not wanting to be right in the heart of the city. But yes, it is an excellent, excellent idea. And I see you just right in the middle of everything for those 7 years.
Cindy over on Facebook wants a money card.
Okay. Money card. Oh gosh, this is the Queen of Pentacles, which is fantastic. You are very grounded, seated on your throne. You have a very healthy, balanced relationship with money. Like, this is more of that validation rather than pointing out that there's surprises or something's wrong. This is just very validating, kind of more of a just keep it up. You're in a solid financial position if you just stay the course and continue doing what you've been doing responsibly.
This one is an upcoming birthday. Monica is asking for a finance card.
Okay. And you have a thumbs down. You've got the Ace of Wands thumbs down, which is saying a lot more money going out. That's going to be the case until the very end of July. So you've got you've got a trip coming up in about is it week to 2 weeks. You've got a trip coming up, and I just see a lot of money and stuff that's being spent. And then I'm getting by October, you start to kind of improve the situation. So little bit of a getaway in some activities, but right now it's just kind of this imbalance of a lot more going out than what's coming in. But you'll level out by fall time. So no big concerns, but it's have fun for the month of July and then start to rein it back in.
And we could do one last question. This one comes from Fareed over on YouTube asking for a love card for Xenon's thoughts about them.
Oh, I love this card. This is a great card to end on. This is the Star, and this is representative of the most perfect balance between divine and this plane. You've got 1 foot on earth, 1 foot in water, that perfect balance. you feel that way towards this person, but I feel like they're not as in alignment spiritually. They don't have that security with their sense of self. This card is depicted as this nude woman because she doesn't need any physical possessions or anything to identify herself. She's just completely at peace in nature, in that divine space. I don't see that that's the same mindset for the other partner, but definitely working on that. And that's kind of your role, is to be that model and that example of living this perfect balance. And eventually they'll find that. So it's you guys have a soul connection, a soul partnership. That's a great card to end on. Thank you so much.
Well, that's all that we have time for. Make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, you hit that big red subscribe button. And if you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button so that you'll never miss out on any of these. Marin, thank you so much for joining us again. And we'll see you the first week of August.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Stay cool out there.
Bye.